Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. It's not on the list. It's so good. Oh, it's so good. So good. And oh, it's so good. It's so good. And oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
To be loved by God. To be loved by God. Oh, it's so good to be loved. Oh, it's so good to be. And oh, it's so good to be loved by God. Yeah. Now that wasn't one. We just made that up. But it's so good to be loved by God, isn't it? It is so good to be loved by God. And I just want to share something real quick with you. The tour that we're doing is called Declaring His Power. And it's sponsored by Premier Radio, World Vision, and also One Voice Records, which is an imprint on Kingsway Music. I'm sure many of you know Kingsway Music. People who bring you Matt Redman, Tim Hughes, and all that. But for me, that's not so important at this point. I mean, thank God for them, of course. A while back, I had the opportunity to go out to Africa with World Vision. World Vision are doing some great work around the world. You may not know, but hopefully you'll know a bit more after I finish. I went out to Ethiopia with World Vision. That's me, believe it or not. The back isn't as broad as it is now. You know, the vestiges of much food is now seen on my body. You know, accentuated by the pink lines of the erudite designer who made this. But you know, whilst I was in Ethiopia, I saw the work that World Vision was doing, and one of the people I met was this young lady, Sintinyehu, who then was 18 years old. In Sintinyehu's hand, please slow down. In Sintinyehu's hand, he's a son, and please go to the next one. Thank you. And that's her younger brother. Now, the thing is this: Sintinyehu's 18. She's not married, and her son, and I'm sure, you know, for some of us, well, 18, not married, has a child, there we go again. But her parents, both her parents had died, and it's said that her parents died from HIV/AIDS. And here was this young lady, vulnerable as a child. Can you imagine your 18-year-old daughter been left without you? And she was accosted and raped by what they call street boys in Ethiopia, and the result of that rape was her son, who she now holds. And she had a choice of what to do. She could have thrown the child away or gotten rid of him, but she chose to keep the child. And now her parents are dead. She was now the breadwinner. She now is the breadwinner in her home. Her brother is still at school, young guy, nice guy. And you know, the home that they live in, I kid you not, I'm not very good with dimensions, but if I could try and paint the picture for you, it's about from here to Abigail. Come forward. Stop. A bit more. Stop. From here to where Abigail is, and the breadth was that. Now within that, I'm sure some of your dining tables can't even fit. And that was her home, and her brother and her bedroom were just suspended above this space where they lived. And also living with her was two of her nephews, And so she was now the breadwinner in her home. And what she would do was she would trade. She would get some money and would trade change to drivers who had passengers. And so for every transaction she made and given them change, she would make like a penny. And she'd saved up about 300 equivalent of, well, it's not equivalent, about 300 pounds, but in their money, you know. And she was looking at carrying on the business. And one of the great things is World Vision, if you carry on please, World Vision had helped her by sponsoring her and educating her in how to do business properly, so that it wasn't just a venture that she got lost in. And really, the reason I'm talking to you tonight is to ask you if you would be so kind as to give a child a chance by sponsoring a child. Interesting enough, when I spoke to Sintinyehu, I went out there as a journalist, premier radio journalist, and I said to her, what do you say to God at night? Because I was just baffled. I'm from Africa, and I've seen some of the challenges we have in Africa, and I've seen great wealth in Africa too. And so I said to her, what do you pray at night? Because you see, I know the feeling of not having your parents around, having not had mine around since the age of 9, and I know what pain I went through. So I said to her, what do you say to God? And you know what she said to me? She started to cry, and she said to me, I asked God to give me the opportunity to be equal with my friends and everybody else. I just be equal. She wasn't saying, tell them in London to send us more aid, or to, you know, send more food, or, you know, all the wonderful things that we do on TV after a disaster. She just said, I asked God to give me, Sintinyehu, the opportunity just to be equal. And so that's what sponsorship does tonight. You can change a child's life forever. I myself sponsor a child. And if you ever listen to Premier Christian Radio, you'd have heard a young lady who talks about the sponsorship and the experience for her. Her name is Gloria, and that's Gloria at the back there. Wave your hands, Gloria. And Gloria sponsors a child, and the child I sponsor, and you too can sponsor a child. About just 18 pounds to sponsor a child. Now imagine your 18 pounds. By the time you do your coffee latte, and you do your carrot cake, and you do, well, that's the sweet and the drink taken care of, and you do your avocado and chicken sandwich, or if you're feeling a bit heavy, you do your Caesar chicken salad from Marks and Spencer, which costs you about £3.95. I bought it yesterday. By the time you do all that for a whole week, you could have helped someone like Sintinyehu become equal and give her the opportunity. So I'm asking you really, if you'd be so kind, if you want to sponsor a child, you want to think about sponsoring a child tonight, I'd be grateful if you join people like me and Gloria in sponsoring a child. Let me see your hands. Just 18 pounds. Let me see your hands real high. And if you'd be so kind, please stand to your feet so that the World Vision people can see you and put something in your hands. Please stand up, those of you with their hands up. Just stand up, please. Just stand up. Please thank them for me. And please stay standing. Okay, girl. Do you want to come and say hello to mommy? Come, girl. Come quickly. Say hello to mommy. No? Please stand up. And let me just invite David to come over. David is from World Vision. Whilst Ali is giving out the information, please, if you had your hand up, please do stand. And David will just explain to you really quickly what you need to do.
I think it's this one. Hi, guys. Okay. Well, as Ali's coming around, there are a number of children who are available for sponsorship. At any one time, we have about 1,000 children waiting to be sponsored. What actually happens in the sponsorship is you're actually supporting the community where they live, so that not only them, but everyone else in their village, in their town, is actually being supported. But you have direct contact with this child. You get to write them letters. You can even go and visit them if you want to do that, like Waya did. But it's more than just giving them the money. It's actually helping them out of the poverty they're in. All the projects are called area development programs. What those actually do is they help fund the community themselves to actually get out of poverty. It could be supporting adult literacy programs. It could be micro-enterprise development. Like that young lady you saw, that was supporting her in an actual business venture that she had, and it was like a micro-enterprise, so that she could help herself out of poverty, because they don't want charity, they want to have pride in what they're actually doing for themselves. And it works. It really does work. The testimonies we have of children who have been in abject poverty, who have not been able to go to school, and with the World Vision program, they've been able to come back to their village and be teachers and physicians. And the list is endless of children like that, who just want the same chance as your children and my children. And they encounter so many more problems than we do. HIV and AIDS orphaned 12.3 million children in sub-Saharan Africa last year. That's the same amount of children as in the UK at this moment. So that's a dramatic effect. And your sponsorship is not helping change everybody's life, but it's certainly changing a particular village. And who knows who lives in that village? Will they be the future leaders of that country? Will they be able to stand up and make a change? And your money also goes towards supporting advocacy. We have a voice directly to the government and to the EU and to United Nations. And your money is helping us stand up for those who don't have a voice for themselves. So it's more than just sponsoring a child. It's actually supporting a movement. It's actually standing up for justice. It's giving back what, as a country, we might have taken in the past. But it's also saying these people have rights. These people have the right to the opportunities that we have, and we want to help them. So that's what sponsorship is. And as a sponsor, you actually do get to write to your child. As I said, you can write letters to them, you receive photographs from them, and you can build up a relationship with them, even go as far as to visit them and such. Yeah.
So with the guys who put their hands up saying they want to sponsor a child and the stuff you put in their hands, now what?
Okay, well, once you fill in the forms, we actually send out the colour photographs to you and give you the address where you can start writing to your sponsored child and begin that relationship. We will send you regular updates of what's happening in the particular community your child is living in. The period of sponsorship tends to last about 10 or 15 years, but it really depends on the amount of development required.
So for the guys who have the form now, fill it out and give it back to you or Ali, or what do they do?
Okay, well, once you've filled out the form, you can come down to the desk that we've got in the reception area there, and we'll take the form from you, and then we'll actually give you the colour photographs of your child there and then, and you'll be able to write, well, when you get home, if you want to.
So you can begin making a change to a child's life tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Please thank David for us. There's someone trying to tell me something. She's telling me to come. Excuse me, just 1 second. Sorry. I thought I'd broken the law there. But we're going to take a quick 10-minute break. The girls just want to put their makeup back on. No, I didn't say that. Please take a 10-minute break. And for those of you who took the World Vision thing, you can fill it out. And those who have the sheets about information about River Songs, do fill it out and give it back to us. And we'll be back for the second half in 10 minutes. So please don't go too far. See you in 10 minutes.